Hey, dudes. Dude Michael here. Well, during our recording of this episode, just right in the middle, somewhere near the end, I don't know, while we were recording, uh, Richard, who supported us on Patreon, recommended we play this game, got us to even do this Iron Tank episode in the first place, he sent an email. So I just thought, special case. I would just at the top of the episode, since we've already recorded it, I'm still sitting in here on my computer, I'd read his email. So here we go. Then we'll start the show. Richard says, "Hey dudes, first off, I'd like to thank you dudes for the podcast. I hope that this game doesn't fall into the recent trend of bad games. The main reason I chose this game is because it's one of the games I owned that you haven't covered yet. The only other games I owned back then that I can fully remember are sports games. Tecmo Bowl, John Elway, Double Dribble, Blades of Steel, some pinball games like Nintendo Pinball, Pinbot, Pinball Dreams, and Mario, Super Mario 1 and 3. Also Zelda, just the first one. I didn't have an NES for a long period of time. My parents bought an Atari 7800 in 1987, and my guess is we got the NES in 89 or 90. But enough about me, on to Iron Tank. Iron Tank is basically Commando or Ikari warriors in a tank during World War II. That's all. I didn't play those games then, so this was kind of the only one-man army game that I had. So it kind of has a soft spot for me, even though I couldn't remember the name of the game when I was at my local retro store, World 1-1 Games, in Santa Maria, California. Luckily, the owner of the store knew about what game I was talking about. So that's it. Again, keep up the good work." So thank you, Richard. Thanks for the email. Thanks for your support on Patreon. And now on to the full show about it. Hey, Justin.
What's up, man?
Guess what?
What?
Chicken butt. I think you suspected
okay
that
with
one. I think you suspected that one.
it. Yeah, I knew it was good. Oh, man. You know, we're talking about a good game this week. Spoiler alerts.
Yeah.
But I've also got a lot of tangents.
I got a lot of tangents too. One, I want you to talk about because I think we may run into issues with it tonight because so far your internet's been a little spotty.
Yeah. Well, what? Oh, boy. Yeah. So, last night was the national championship game, college football national championship game, and internet been working off. It's been working fine all day, right? No problems. Mm-hmm. You know, and so I don't get cable TV, but we do streaming. We have this service called Sling. I'm sure a lot of people are probably familiar with it. You get like 20 channels for $20. Then like for $5, you get all the sports channels. So it's like $25 and you get like, 20 something channels. And really the only reason to use it is, for me, sports.
Right.
And, comes game time and the internet just starts cutting out like every
How
30 seconds.
Convenient.
Exactly. So, and so at first I reset the router, didn't work. At first I thought, well, maybe it's the channel, maybe it's the service. It's like overloaded or something. No, like everything that the internet would, my wife tried to use FaceTime, and it wasn't even working. So the internet was it was the internet. It was nothing else. It was not ESPN. It was not Sling app. It was the internet. So then I'm really mad because I really wanted to watch this game. I'm not cheering for either team. Actually, kind of wish they both lose. But I just, wanted to watch the game. And I'm just thinking, so Charter really wants you to buy their cable, right? Because, I mean, they make a lot more money on cable than they do the internet or phone service, right? You would have to say.
I bet they make a bunch on phone service, but nobody signs up for that.
Yeah. And but people like me who skirt around it, because it's cheaper to do the Sling service. You don't get as many channels, of course, or you don't get as many features, but
you get the
for somebody like you get the ones you want, and it's cheap.
Yep.
And then, so what would be Charter's incentive to keep the internet going fast during big events? Like, I don't know, national championship game or Super Bowl or whatever. Not a conspiracy theorist.
Well, the net neutrality is gone now, so...
That's right. They could have slowed it down on purpose, and it's completely legal.
Yep.
Although,
I will say, I also have Charter Internet, and I don't use Charter cable either, and my stream was perfectly fine.
It must just be my area then.
Maybe.
And like you said, evidently it's a little choppy on my feed tonight.
Now, I will say that I had two different feeds. I have the ESPN app that I sign in with the DirecTV Now service, and then I have the DirecTV Now app that streams like a cable company would. And the ESPN app was trash. Like, the feed was terrible. But the ESPN channel on DirecTV Now was fine. So I don't know.
Well, I don't know. It was just aggravating. But by second half, it was fine.
Yeah.
Like, actually, immediately after the halftime show, it was fine. Which was fine with me because the halftime show was not really very good at all. And by the way,
you didn't like lip syncing Kendrick Lamar?
Yeah. He was lip syncing, like clearly lip syncing. Like, you could clearly see that it was not matching his voice. He wasn't even saying all the lyrics.
Yeah, I know.
And it was playing. And it brings me to think, like, used to, it was a big deal when somebody lip synced, right? Like, that was scandal of the year when somebody was caught lip syncing. Are we just cool with it now?
I think we are, because Garth Brooks got a little bit of heat over it because he did the same thing not a month ago at the Country Music Awards or whatever. And now, okay, quick tangent.
Tangent on a tangent.
Yeah, tangent on a tangent real quick, because Sean called us out on the Larry the Cable Guy and the Medea movie thing. So now here I am talking about Garth Brooks and the Country Music Award. They're going to think we are just the hickest of hicks down here on this podcast. I promise I'm not. But anyways, Garth Brooks, he got caught lip syncing too during the Country Music Awards or something. And his excuse was that he had to do a show later that night because they tape all the live stuff earlier in the day, or the whole show's earlier in the day or something.
Yeah.
And then they show it at night. Well, he had a show to do that night, and he didn't want to mess his voice up. Blah 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 blah. Whatever.
I would rather you just sound imperfect.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. So, like, and I've told you this before. Like, guilty pleasure of mine. I actually think Lady Gaga's music's pretty good, right? Yeah, it's poppy and catchy and all that. But some of her songs I think are really good. And I have to admit, she always performs this song live. Did you see the song where she did Moth Through the Flame with Metallica at the Grammys or some music awards show?
No.
It was pretty good. I mean, and it was imperfect. But that was what was great about it, is because you knew that they were doing it live. And
what about
her
somebody
Super Bowl
who,
performance was really good, too.
What about somebody who actually does do it live, but is perfect? That's tricky.
Yeah. I'll tell you, though, the most... the band that I've seen that sounds the closest to just, absolute CD or, high definition quality as their album does. And that was Tool. It was fairly amazing at how good they sounded.
I've not seen Tool, but I will say that we saw Chevelle last year, and Chevelle is spot on, like exactly. Like, they don't... Yeah. You can tell they're doing it live because they changed the songs up a little bit from the way they sound on the album. But as far as the singer's voice and, like, the quality of their their sound quality and stuff. It's pretty well spot on. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Anyways, we've done a lot of tangents, but I got one more.
Okay.
Just because you were talking about Charter. Now, I said I got rid of my Charter cable as well, and I'm all Charter internet only. Mm-hmm. So they still call me. But I've got my plan down. I'll see they're calling. Some people would just not answer, right? Because it's Charter. But I go ahead and answer. And then when they say, hey, Michael, this is Charlene with Charter, I say, hi, Charlene, how are you doing? Are you offering me faster or cheaper internet? And they'll say no, and I'll say, not interested. Click.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because that's all
So, Charter, oh my God. They wear their own customers out. So, I've only ever purchased internet from them. I never bought TV from them. And I get the amount of paper that they waste sending me stuff in the mail to try to get me to upgrade to phone and TV and phone calls and emails. It's quite absurd.
Does it work?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like the amount of time and money they spend on paper and employee making phone calls and stuff. It has to work on somebody, right?
You would think. I think
it's just a waste of my time. But
yeah, I mean, I think there are people out there that if you got them on the phone and said, "Look, it's like only $30 more, you get 200 channels." But it is $30 for like 6 months, and then it's like $200.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess people do buy into it, but it's a bad business philosophy if you ask me. Because here's the problem: so let's say you get them to sign up for $30 a month for 6 months, and then their bill skyrockets to $200. Well, what if that person can't pay the $200? Then they just don't pay you. You cut their service off, and you've lost the customer.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the? I think it's somewhat of a bad business policy in that respect too. Like if you're selling somebody something that they can't afford, then they're going to end up dropping it, and you're not going to make any money.
I think that the market is about to correct itself in this whole cable front. I mean, because it's. Now that the streaming services are here, it's just not going to be feasible anymore, really.
I think products like Sling, I would just love, and everybody would love this. And this is what cable companies don't want, but everybody would love to just be able to pay for the channels that you want.
Mm-hmm.
I want these are the only 5 channels that I watch. I want those channels, and I'll pay you per channel for those, and give price breaks for however many channels. If you get more channels, give them price breaks.
That makes the most sense in the world.
But if you only want 5 channels, here's the per channel price.
If it's $5 per channel, but like say you get to 10 and it goes down to $4 per channel or something like that,
exactly right. Makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. Sounds like we need to get into the cable network business.
Exactly.
I'm sure there's a low barrier to entry for that, right?
Yeah, anybody can get into that.
Hey, you know what does have a low barrier to entry? Podcasting on the Two Dudes in a Nest show about Iron Tank.
Yes.
10 minutes into the show.
10 minutes into the show, we're finally going to bring up what game we're talking about.
That's right. Which means we just canceled out any chances for being a candidate for the 2018 Potties.
Oh man!
One of the stipulations is within like the first 30 seconds of your show, you have to talk about the name of your show or something.
We're already out.
Yeah, I wasted our first 30 seconds on a chicken butt joke.
It was a good run. We had a good run.
First episode of the year.
Yeah. Speaking of which, so I looked it up tonight because I wanted to mention it on the show because we talked about it on the Christmas show. I wanted to give the exact dates. So our first Two Dudes in a Nest episode was released on February 1st, 2014. So that February 1st will be our 4-year anniversary, and we're about to start on our 5th year.
Wow.
So, pretty incredible. So, yay.
That's the sound of one sad man clapping.
I wish I had one of those like party blowers.
Yeah, that's good enough. That's close enough.
All right.
So this episode is brought to you guys by Richard. Thanks, Richard, for your Patreon donation. This is your pick. Hopefully you've not tuned out and dropped your donation. But now,
well, they're supposed to be talking about my game, but they've not talked about it.
Yeah. Now we're definitely going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you got some history for us, Justin?
I do. So Iron Tank was brought to the NES by none other than SNK, and the full name for the game was Iron Tank: The Invasion of Normandy. It was released as Great Tank in Japan.
Oh, I like that.
Because iron doesn't translate. They don't have iron. in
They
Japan?
don't have iron over there.
Yeah. So it's a top-down action shooting game. Like I said, developed and released by the SNK. Released July of 1988. And
Pretty old game, then, kind of.
yeah, it's a pretty old game, and it's even got some backstory to it as well, because the video game is kind of based on the arcade game TNK 3, which was released as Tank in Japan. So it was released as Tank in Japan and TNK 3 here. Makes no sense.
Okay.
But it was a 1985 game. Now, this game also shares one of the main player of the game, who's codenamed Snake, or as I like to call him, Paul.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that?
No, his name is Paul,
Oh, okay.
but his nickname is, or codename is Snake.
Gotcha.
And he was called Colonel Ralph in the Japanese version.
In the Japanese version. Gotcha.
But Colonel Ralph, or Paul, also was featured in the game of Ikari Warriors. Good grief. I can't even say words.
Ikari Warriors?
Yeah, Ikari Warriors. There
I
you
think
go.
it's Ikari. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Well, there you go. So that name was carried over. But this is not the only part of this game that had some earlier SNK relations. Is a lot of people say that this game was the sequel, or the spiritual sequel, quote unquote, to the earlier Guerrilla War game, which we haven't talked about Ikari Warriors or Guerrilla War on the side. But I kind of just looked them up because I wasn't familiar with them. And
I played Guerrilla War a lot as a kid. So I can't wait till we get to that one. But I loved that game when I was younger.
Yeah, well, I never played it, but I have to say it looks really similar to this game.
It does. It plays really similar.
Yeah, so I can see where they get that. Anyway, so that's about it on the history, to be honest with you. So you turn this over. Do you have a big story about how you came to acquire this great cart?
I do not have a giant story. I haven't had a giant story in a long time, and I'm starting to feel kind of bad. But
we thought we discussed this. You just got to start making them up.
Oh yeah, okay, that's true. So one day, I was walking down the street after getting my haircut, and I looked to my left, looked to my right. There was pawn shops on either side of me. Okay, so I went into the one on the right. He had Iron Tank in there. I said, "Hey, Mr. Pawn Shop Man, how much you take for this Iron Tank?" He said, $10. I said, "Wow, $10? Okay, I'll think about it." So I left, went to the pawn shop on the left. Go in there. He had Iron Tank. I said, "Hey, Mr. Pawn Shop Man, how much you take for this Iron Tank?" And he said, "I will take 8 doll hairs." I said, "Wow, 8 doll hairs, huh?" Okay. So I went back to the pawn shop guy on the right, and he said he would price match. His was nicer shape, had less sticker shock. There was no residue underneath the stickers and stuff. So, boom, got it from the guy on the right. 7 doll hairs.
There you go. So you had to go pull some doll hairs out.
Yeah, that was in 1994.
Yeah, I don't. I completely forgot what I was going to say there.
It happens.
There you go.
My story was just so good.
I got too flabbergasted.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I understand. Everybody else at home is probably just like their jaws are on the floor right now.
Plethora of pawn stories.
Yep. No, the real story is I got this in a lot from eBay. It's really exciting, right? From now on, if it's a stupid lot from eBay, I'll just make up a grand story. I'll make one up.
Yeah, like you were riding around in Arnold Schwarzenegger's tank. And have you seen those videos, by the way?
No.
On YouTube? So yeah, he's got like a bunch of videos. So he has a tank. And
does he actually have a tank?
He actually has a tank.
Oh.
And this tank, so he was doing like some fundraisers like 2 or 3 years ago, and that's what these videos are. But they're like this one is if you donate to like this charity, you get entered for a chance to come out and hang and drive around in Arnold's tank and crush things. And they just have like a bunch of stuff that you can just crush. But the video is hilarious. Like him advertising for it, it's just great. And then there's a couple others where he's like cooking with his tank, and he's like he cooks an ostrich egg and bacon on the tank. Like it's just so hot, you know. He's like cooking. It's just they're great videos. You should look them up.
Yeah, I think I need to. That sounds good. I want to win that contest.
Well, I think, like I said, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. But yeah, just drive around with Arnold crushing things in the tank.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. Have you ever seen that meme where it's like, if you could work out with Arnold Schwarzenegger or go on a date with your dream girl, what exercise would you do first?
That's funny.
So, anyway.
All right. You want to talk about the game a little bit? I got a manual.
Oh, boy. I'm excited.
Okay. This is a PDF manual.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a legit manual for this one. But let's talk about this game. You want to hear the story?
Yes.
The invasion of Normandy?
Yeah. Which is just actually a history lesson.
Yeah. Well, they take a few liberties, I think, with it.
So some of these are maybe not factual.
So, yeah. So, kids listening at home, just so you know, the real invasion of Normandy was really. You need to go research it if you don't already know. It's quite the historic event in our world, and it's something everybody should be very familiar with. However, it is not the story of a tank arriving on a boat and just like mowing everybody down.
Yeah.
That is not what the invasion of Normandy was. But I digress. The story for this game. The date, June 5th, 1944. The United Forces were preparing their final assault on the Normandy coast. The mission, establish a beachhead, break through the front lines, and infiltrate and destroy enemy headquarters. Not too far off.
Yeah. This is where it gets a little odd.
Here's where it starts getting a little off. Yeah. To spearhead the invasion, they have chosen Paul from Command Unit 88, a secret unit known as Iron Snake. An experienced combat veteran with Special Forces training, Paul has been called a man of iron. Not an Iron Man. That's trademarked. Right. He's a man of iron. Right. But to succeed in his mission, Paul will need the full firepower of the United Forces' mightiest fighting juggernaut, the Iron Tank.
Right.
So that's the story of this game.
Don't put that on your history test.
No. Describe in 3 words the invasion of Normandy. And little Jimmy says, the Iron Tank! Exclamation point. F minus.
Yeah. Well, this game really is the spiritual successor to Call of Duty World War II, right?
Yeah. Came right after it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's based loosely on this game.
Yeah. It's a prequel, you know.
Oh, I've got a Switch tangent too, but we'll keep going with the manual.
Okay, let's keep going. Well, yeah, let's keep going with the manual. And in going through the manual, I will describe a little bit of how the game works. So the game is like Justin said, it's a top-down shooter. Think Jackal, which we covered just not too long ago. Think like Jackal. It's very similar. You have a shoot your machine gun button, and you have a shoot your big tank gun button. Okay. Now, what I thought, well, should I save it for gameplay? No, I'm going to go ahead and get into it.
Yeah.
What I thought was really cool about this game, it was somewhat frustrating at first, but the tank kind of controls like a tank in that the turret gun spins at a different rate than your machine gun. So like the machine gun's always going to shoot forward, but the turret will turn every time you shoot the machine gun button. It will turn one click in the direction of wherever you're facing.
Yeah, and then the problem is with like the men that you got to shoot. Fine, you can shoot them with the machine gun
or run them over.
Right, or run them over. But the tanks, you have to shoot with the turret. Right.
You don't have to, but it makes things a lot easier.
Right. Well, yeah. You can actually just run into them, but it takes away a lot of your life.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was so frustrating for me. The turret slowly moving around, and like I try to shoot it, and it's shooting backwards, and trying to shoot it. Anyway, go ahead.
But here's the thing: once you master it, well, let's not say master because I didn't master anything in this game. But once you figure out kind of how to use it, what you can do, what I did was I would get it positioned so that it was pointing up most of the time.
Yeah.
And then I would just move my tank and always have at least that thing pointed straight up, so that I would just maneuver my tank around the enemies and bosses and things, and always have it shooting up. The problem comes in when it gets frantic and I start having to use the machine gun too much, and I forget that the turret is moving around, and sometimes it gets a little out of place.
Right.
But so that's kind of the premise of the controls of the game, which I thought was interesting in their approach to make it feel like a tank, because it did kind of feel like a tank.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I've never drove a tank, but
yeah, well, I have. It's exactly the same.
It's exactly the same.
It's exactly the same. Yep.
All right.
But you get power-ups during the game, but the power-ups, I thought the power-ups were kind of interesting too, because they power up your tank bullet, basically.
Right.
And you gather ammo for them based on the power-ups, and then you have to go into the select menu and turn the different power-ups on or off, and they use ammo as you use them. So you can have there's 4 different power-ups, I believe. See, the manual says, there's 4 different power-ups. So you have 4 different power-ups, and how many times can I say power-ups during this podcast episode?
Powers.
No, I'm just kidding. You have 4 different power-ups, and you can use different combinations of those. And basically, from what I noticed, is based on what type of enemy you're fighting. Some power-ups are better than others. Of course, having all 4 checked is going to be the best way to kill anybody. But you don't have the ammo for that most of the time.
Right.
But so you can pick different combinations of power-ups to make your turret gun do different things. The power-ups, would you like to know what they are?
Yes.
There's the V.
Mm-hmm.
The V power-up is rapid firing, which is continuous shooting.
Has nothing to do with a V. What does V stand for?
It just stands for rapid firing.
All right.
Yeah. The F, can you guess what F stands for?
Armor piercing.
Yeah. Armor piercing. Yeah, you got it. Wow. I mean,
you say F. What do I think of when I say F? When you say F?
Well, armor piercing, of course. Yeah. And there's B. You know what B is?
Explosive.
Oh, wow. You're good at this game.
But I guess that one I can semi-get. Bomb.
Boom.
Explosive. Yeah, boom. Yeah. Okay.
So that just makes the explosive power of your bullets increase. And then there's L, the one that actually does make sense. That's long range, which makes it basically go all the way across the screen, which is nice.
Right.
That one's really, really helpful. But in my playthrough, I did not get a lot of the L ammo for whatever reason. Yep. All right.
So moving. I didn't know if you were going to broach the question mark power.
No, I was going to leave the question mark alone. But you can get more energy and stuff. Those are some other power-ups.
Right.
I guess we can talk about... some of the enemies in the game. I think the enemies, for a game that's loosely based on World War II, and it's kind of, you're kind of killing people with a tank. I think the enemies are a little too cute.
Yeah, especially the army men.
The little army men with the big heads.
Yeah.
I mean, I like them. I think it's kind of cool, like the way they look. But then I also kind of feel bad for running them over with a tank.
Right.
But I guess they don't come out and say that you're fighting the Nazis. But I think
it's cute little Nazis.
They're cute little Nazis. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. They're adorable. Right. So yeah, you got your little soldiers. You got different tanks that you really can't tell the difference between them.
No, well, there's some of them are different colors, but to me they all acted the same.
I couldn't tell you which one was which. You got trains, you got planes. There's blimp at some point, but I don't even think it's in the manual. But there is a blimp in the first level. Don't see it.
I don't see it in the manual either. But yeah.
Most of the stuff I never saw because I didn't get very far.
No, but I like the bosses that you fight are usually like some kind of a big machine, right?
An object.
Yeah.
Right.
So like
not a person, it's an object.
Yeah. So like for example, just the first level, you fight a tank that's about 4 times your size and has about 10 times as many guns on it as you. But it doesn't move very fast, so it's pretty cool. I mean, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's called Think Tank.
Oh, it's called the Think Tank?
You think Think Tank was a group of experts that, sit around and talk about ideas. Nope, it's an actual tank.
It's an actual tank. Now, there are people in there thinking about things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But they're actually riding around in a tank. It's not a room.
I always thought that you always hear that like on the news, like about political. This person here belongs to this think tank. I think that would be just a cool job. I mean, what do? You just think?
Yeah, you just think all the time.
Like I think all the time anyway. If I could get paid to do that,
yeah, but you have to think about important things. You can't just think about like Lucky Charms crossed with Frosted Flakes.
Oh man, now I got to hear the story 'cause, I got the teaser picture.
You know this came out of a think tank.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I bought, and I went in the cereal aisle, which I don't normally do, but there's Nintendo cereal supposedly out there in the wild.
Yeah.
So I went looking just into the cereal aisle to see if they had the Nintendo cereal. They did not. But what they did have was Lucky Charms and Frosted Flakes in the same box. Those were my 2 favorite cereals growing up. Frosted Flakes and Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
So the Lucky Charm, basically, it is, if you can picture this, which I think you can, it is the Lucky Charms marshmallows, but instead of the Lucky Charms cereal bits, it's got Frosted Flakes instead.
Wow.
It is good.
It sounds cereal. Amazing. It sounds like, a whole lot of sugar, but it sounds amazing.
Oh, yeah. There's plenty of sugar in there. But So here's the thing. If you're like me, Lucky Charms, the marshmallows are awesome. The cereal that they put in Lucky Charms, the cereal part is just really kind of It's just there. It's filler, right?
Yeah.
Now, if the Lucky Charms cereal is filler, and you take that out and put in Frosted Flakes, what do you get?
You get just everything's awesome.
All killer, no filler, baby.
Oh, yeah.
It is good cereal. Anyways, it might be my new favorite cereal. Of course, I don't eat a lot of cereal, but
I need to try that out because my daughter. So if we get Lucky Charms here, like she'll want a baggie of it. She'll get a baggie of it. She'll eat all the marshmallows and then say she needs more cereal. She'll say she's out of cereal, but there's plenty of cereal in the bag. It's just she's out of marshmallows.
Yeah. Okay. Now here's the big cereal question, and I got to ask you this, and I got to put this out there to all you listeners too. If you want to call in or whatever, let us know. Do you drink the milk? Do you leave the milk?
So, I respect drinking the milk, but it's not an activity that I engage in.
Okay.
You know,
I drink the milk.
Okay. See, I respect.
My wife does not drink the milk, and she thinks it's gross to drink the milk.
See, I don't think it's gross. I
So there
respect
may be
the
three
activity.
different kind of people.
Yeah, right. I respect it.
It's just not for you.
Actually, Damashek and Adam Carolla, which we seem to talk about on every podcast.
I feel like we're basically just the Damashek and Adam Carolla of the Nintendo world.
But he did a category. I think it was actually a Shecky Award on best cereal milk to drink.
Oh.
Like best milk after the cereal's gone to drink. I don't remember what he said. There was Frosted Flakes was a contender. Like Cocoa Puffs was a contender. I don't remember all of them, but yeah.
It's always, I drink almost all the milk. The ones that I can't drink actually, and I don't really like all that much, is the ones that would turn it into chocolatey milk. I don't really like those.
Yeah,
I think those would be the ones that would make the most sense to drink, but I just don't like them that much.
See, I don't like chocolate milk. I like milk so much, like I don't like my milk messed with.
You don't like good sugary milk?
I think that's why I just don't partake in the drinking of the cereal milk. Like I want a glass of milk.
I understand. Now here,
Not skim milk. Never skim milk.
I like a good cereal milk. Okay. Now I've gone so far in the past to, instead of putting cereal in a bowl, I've put it in a glass with some milk and just drank my cereal.
Yeah, that'll work.
Because I'm not I know some people will eat all the cereal and then drink the milk. That's not my style. I like to eat most of the cereal and have a few bits left, and then drink the milk and chew the bits as I'm drinking the milk.
See, here's the thing, and here maybe this is the problem with it's the texture. It's a texture thing. So when you're having cookies and milk, right? So I think the superior cookie for me is a Chips Ahoy or a what's the Rainbow Deluxe from like Keebler. It's got like the
M&M?
Fox M&Ms. Yeah. So those are like my.
Did you say Fox M&Ms?
Yeah, faux, I guess.
I was thinking, are they like Simpsons characters or something?
But when I dip the cookies in the milk, it's delicious, right? Mm-hmm. I'm loving every second of it. And there are a lot of people at the end of the dipping and eating, all the cookies are gone, would drink the milk, right? I can't do it.
Yeah,
because there's little bits in there.
What do you
can't do it.
You just pour it out?
I have to pour it out.
That's so wasteful.
I know, and I hate waste too. It's a great paradox.
Okay, let me tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
I hate waste more than I hate the bad tasting food. Does that make sense?
Yeah, all right.
Like I will not let anything go to waste. And there's only one thing. I do not like onions. I do not like onions with a passion, and I will throw those away all day long. But anything else, even if I don't really like it, it is going in my belly. I'm not throwing it in the trash.
Right.
Of course, my belly is growing because of it, but I've always lived my life that way.
What are you gonna do? Yeah. So, that food needs to be eaten.
Somebody's got to eat it.
They're starving kids. We were always told they were starving kids in China.
I'm sure there are.
I feel like that was always the.
My parents always used to say that to me. My response was always the same. I was like, "Well, send it to them. I don't want
it." Yeah. It's not a thought out threat.
No, it's not. Yeah. Iron Tank.
Yeah. So I gotta say, as a person, this is episode 120 something, whatever. I think people probably figured it out. I don't like top-down games that much, but I actually had a lot of fun with this game. Like, this is a pretty fun game. It's very intense though, and it gets intense like really quick. Like it's not a game where like the first level's easy and you don't have any problem with it. Like it's just a few bad guys. This one, it hits you pretty hard, really quick.
Yeah. It's not a super easy game. But it's not terribly difficult either. It's got a really good difficulty level to it. It's challenging, but it's easy to get into.
Right. And then you just you said this before. It's like you've got the army man that you could shoot with the machine gun, or you just run over him, which is completely easier. And it doesn't take away any of your life if you run up the army men.
It's a lot more fun to run them over, if I'm being honest.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so this game, another element, I'm kind of jumping around here, but another element I thought was kind of neat was you have a radio, kind of like you do in Metal Gear. Mm-hmm. Snake for it. Is it more than a coincidence? I don't know, but yeah, you do in your sub menu every now and then you'll get a call, and you can go in your sub menu and answer it, and they'll give you like tips on what to do next and stuff.
Right.
It's not a confusing game to know what to do next anyways, but I think it's kind of neat that you get kind of some story elements built in there.
Sure. Yeah. No, I did like that too. You know, and it seems like, you know, you get like 3 tanks at the beginning of the game. And they'll go pretty quick, because once you get into like even the first level, there's like 3 or 4 tanks right in a row, and you're just like, I mean, when you run into tanks, it's a problem, because if they run into you or they hit you with their turret gun, you know, you're done.
Yeah, so. It should also be said that another aspect of the game that I like is this is not like a regular shmup where one hit you die. You have a life bar. So you can take several hits.
The tank has a life bar.
Yeah, the tank has a life bar.
Right.
So the tank can take several hits before it's actually done. So those who are listening thinking that, you know, we're talking about it and thinking that every time we get hit we die. No, that's not the case. You don't die every time you get hit.
No.
So you do have a life bar. And you can get more life throughout the game if you play your cards right.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, it comes down to, can you figure out the control mechanic?
Yeah.
And once you kind of get the hang of that, the game starts to get a little bit easier. But it does take some getting used to.
It does.
Which I think that's actually a good thing, because that kind of gives this game a little bit of a unique feel.
It gives it a unique feel, but it's frustrating too.
It is.
I guess when you start out. Especially with the turret gun and then trying to figure that out and how to get it to aim, because it doesn't aim like you would expect it to. You have to slowly get it to turn. But
yeah, the trick to that is and what threw me at first is I thought it would turn the direction you're going in, but it just did it slower. But it will actually not turn the direction you're going in until you press the shoot button for the machine gun. So you can actually, if you never press the machine gun button, the turret will stay facing whichever direction it's in, which is handy in a lot of cases. You may want to leave it facing whatever direction it's in.
Right.
But then all of a sudden you may need to quickly turn it to another direction, and you have to, like for example, the first, or just about any boss that you face, you may want that turret to face the boss, which you do need to face the boss. But in order to face the boss and face the turret towards the boss, you kind of have to make your tank go towards the boss, which is not often the best approach. Yeah, you have to kind of kamikaze towards the.
It's also frustrating because if you're playing for score, like we did the high score challenge, and you want to hit as many tanks as you can to get more points, and the tanks are going side to side, you're not going to be able to hit those tanks unless you're a really good shot, or you're really quick, or you're really good at this game. I feel like this is a game, like if you played it a lot, you could get really good at it. But
this is definitely a game where the more you play it, the better you get. This is not one of those games that we've talked about where it didn't feel like you could do anything to get better. This is definitely one where you could definitely get better.
I watched a speed run, and this may not be the fastest. It was just one that caught my eye. But I was like typing in Iron Tank on Google. But it was 22 minutes to beat the game. Which, I mean, I didn't even know if I got halfway through the first level in 22 minutes, to be honest with you. So,
yeah,
pretty impressive.
That's pretty good. That is impressive.
Yeah.
But that just goes to show you this is one of those games is not very long if you know what you're doing and you're good at it. But it'll take you a while to get to that point. Yeah. I would think. I know it's going to take me a while if I continue playing it. What do you think of the? Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, what did you think of the graphics of the game?
For a top-down, I thought it was really good. I mean, you know, again, the sprites of the army men were a little cutie. But I thought as far as like the tanks, the bosses, even the backgrounds, I thought they were really good. I was kind of impressed for a top-down game, especially a top-down game in 1988. This was pretty impressive.
I thought it was pretty impressive too. I really liked the backgrounds. I thought the backgrounds were great. I think that the backgrounds, they feel almost like they get recycled in a bunch of the SNK games. Because I feel like I've played the same background over and over again, like in Guerrilla War or in Ikarai Warriors or whatever. I feel like I've played the same level before, which is kind of frustrating. Like if you were to play a bunch of SNK games back to back, it would feel kind of monotonous probably because they're all very similar and they look kind of the same. But they're not all similar, but a lot of them are similar. But having not played one yet for the show, which means I probably haven't played one in a really long time. At least I don't think we played an SNK game yet. But
I don't know.
It actually felt pretty refreshing to me. I thought the graphics were pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. What I was going to say is at my last interview, there was this girl that we were talking about video games, and she there was like 3 or 4 of us sitting there, and they started talking about Super Smash Brothers. Yeah, apparently her husband, who is like extremely good at Super Smash Brothers. Apparently, when they play him, like around his friends and all that, like, he just destroys everybody. So he thought, I'm pretty good at video games. And see what he actually entered the tournament, got destroyed like immediately, which is funny because you think like you're pretty good at video games around your friends. It's like everybody's got that one game that they dominate, or maybe you dominate at several games, and then you go out into like the tournament world in gaming, and it's just like, forget it.
Oh yeah, I'll never forget. Like, there have been many instances where I thought I was good and then realized I was bad. Okay. High school to college. In high school, I was playing like You and Crabman, and I was, no offense to you guys, but I feel like I was kind of top dog.
The best one, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I get to college and I'm bottom of the barrel, Mr. Suck. All of a sudden, like everybody I played anything with, I just lost bad.
Yeah.
And so then I started getting a little bit better because I was playing with them. I was getting a little bit better, and then about halfway through or near the end of our college days, online gaming comes out, and I'm thinking, okay, I can hold my own with some of these college boys. It's time for me to take my game online. I get online, stomped.
Destroyed. Right.
I don't play competitively that much anymore. I can't hardly go online for anything.
So, I looked this up because I didn't think we'd played an SNK game. We have Crystallis or Crystallis, however you want to say.
Oh, wow. That's an SNK
game? Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a really good one.
Yeah. And that one doesn't look like their other games, but hey, what are you going to do?
It must have come out much later, I guess.
Yeah, this was 19. So Crystallis is 1990. Where this was like mid 80s was when it was really designed. So.
Okay, cool.
There you go.
There you go. What about the music? Did you like the music and the sound effects?
Neither here nor there, to be honest with you. I didn't.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about it too.
It was there. It didn't annoy me, but it didn't. I kind of
forgot about
this
it.
Was good. Yeah.
To be honest, as I was playing, I just kind of forgot it was there.
Yeah.
Which is usually not a glowing recommendation for the music, but
it's better than annoying.
Yeah, that's true. It was not annoying. It was just kind of there. It was just music.
And to compare it to the last game, it's better than playing for 30 seconds and then it
just disappears.
Yeah. Then you're like, wait, wasn't there music just playing?
Yeah.
So,
well,
anyway,
I think I have exhausted my talk about the game itself.
Yeah, while it's a fun game and there's, it's a pretty difficult game, there's not a whole lot really to it. I guess you could say.
Right. It's hard to talk for too long about it because it is what it is.
Right. Yeah.
So do we want to see how much it's worth? What does it go for?
So this one you can pick up pretty cheap. So I see it for about, you can get this game, there's on eBay $5. You can get a complete total set, box, of course it's not sealed, box, manual, advertisement, everything that came in the box, and a poster that came in the box.
Wow.
For $25. But
really?
If you just want to, so if you want to buy the game though, it's only about $5 to $10. So let's go $7.50.
Okay. All right. I'd say it's worth it. I think this game's pretty fun.
Yeah, definitely worth that price.
For $5 to $10, it's worth it.
I don't know if it's going to unseat any games on my $118.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's that good.
I don't think it could for me.
But it's worth a buy.
Yeah, I would say it's worth buying. It does not unseat any of the games that I picked for the 118.
Right. So
you're in concurrence?
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I have a quick tangent.
All right.
We were talking the other day, you and I, off air. We came up with a word, and I thought maybe we could introduce it to the to the listeners. So there's a time in your life, everybody's life, whether it's a significant other, a sibling, a parent. You never know.
A dog.
A dog. Sometimes
I've got a good story about a dog in
Okay.
this type of scenario. But go ahead.
Okay. Here's the story. You get some. I'm going to use deviled eggs as an example because it's the most recent that has happened to me. Over the holidays, make some delicious deviled eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're good for at least a day or two. Not much longer than that, but they're good for a day or two. But they're also a hot ticket item in my household. My wife and I both love the deviled eggs.
Right, as everyone does.
I don't know many people who don't.
Right.
But is this another? God, these guys are hick things. I don't think we're hicks. Does everybody eat deviled eggs or just Southern people?
I don't know, but yeah.
Anyways, so we have a platter of about 6 deviled eggs
left
over from the holidays. The next day, we're home together, having a good time. We eat half the eggs. There's 3 left, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The next day, we're at work. We're at work, having a good time. All day long, I'm thinking, when I get home, I'm going to tear into my half of those deviled eggs. I got at least 1.5 waiting on me. Maybe 2 if Amber's not feeling too hungry.
Yeah.
So all day long, I'm thinking this. My wife gets home 30 minutes before me. Usually, every day at least. So I get home. I say, well, before we talk about supper, I think I'm going to have me some of them deviled eggs. And open up the fridge. Gone. And I'm thinking, there is nothing more frustrating.
That hurts.
Than wanting something like that all day long. And then realizing that the person you love more than anybody else in the world has taken it from you. Yes. And so we were talking, and you can tell your version of the story as well, but Jess and I were talking, there are not words that can describe that feeling that you get when that happens. So we just, I think, you'd think Russians or somebody probably have words for something like that. But we do not have that word in our English language, so we came up with one. I don't think I remember what it was, but
yeah, I think
something
like probably have to look it up.
It was. It needed to. The way we described it is, it was needed to be something that expressed frustration, sadness, and disappointment all in one word.
Right.
It's something like Shamblafurgid or something like that.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see here.
But I just,
we talked about too much other stuff.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just still fresh in my mind, the incident. And it happens 2 or 3 times a year probably. And I do it to her too, so it's not like I'm the only one getting sad.
While I'm scrolling, this is my so I've got plenty of those stories. But this one happened. And Shamblefrugid.
Shamblefrugid.
All right,
it does sound kind of like German or something. Fitting for Iron Tank episode.
Yep. So, anyway, one day I bought 2 ribeyes, right, from this grocery store. I am really the only steak eater in the house here. So when I grill out steaks, I always like cook chicken for the girls, and I have a steak. Well, I don't buy ribeyes very often because, as you know, ribeyes are very expensive. They're expensive cut of meat, and so I was cooking dinner, and got my ribeye out, put my seasoning salt on it, and olive oil, and
I can already see where this is going.
There was two steaks in the pack, and I got the prettier one. It was perfectly marbled, and I was so excited. It was bigger and it was plumper. Just everything about it was better, right? And then I don't remember what we were doing, but I had to go outside and unload something really quick.
Or get the grill ready, maybe.
Yeah, something. I had to go outside for something, but it was something that I had to go outside for a few minutes for.
Uh-huh.
And so, just left it on the counter, right? It's on the counter.
Yeah.
So as I was outside, I got this sinking suspicion because my dog can stand up and, reach on the counter if she wanted. She doesn't do this often.
But for a ribeye.
Yeah. So I just kind of got this sinking suspicion while I was outside, I left that ribeye on the counter. I really hope my dog doesn't get that ribeye. I come home to a shattered plate on the kitchen floor and a dog that has eaten probably a $10 steak.
Shamblefrugid.
Yeah, Shamblefrugid. Oh, I was so angry. And so the consolation prize was that I still had another ribeye because it was a 2-pack, but it was the inferior steak. And so now I had to think that I was bound to get a better steak. And here's the biggest insult to injury all of it.
She threw it out.
No. But I know she didn't enjoy it because in dog fashion, they just try to eat it so fast so they don't get caught eating it, Right. So I know she didn't even take her time and enjoy it. She just ate it as fast as she could. She probably didn't even taste it. And it's just if you're going to eat my steak, at least semi-enjoy it. But I know she did.
Oh, I think she enjoyed it. I think she did.
Yeah, she enjoyed it a little bit. Yeah. But
there was definitely some enjoyment had.
And I come
she
in,
got caught, because then she probably...
I come into a broken plate. I hadn't even yelled or said her name or anything, and I'm looking around for her, and she's under the table, and she just she knows she's in trouble. It was worth it. Funny. She's it's worth it.
Oh boy, that's funny. Poor Birdie.
Yeah.
All right, you got any trophies?
I've got a couple.
Okay.
So, I'm going to go with the Tiananmen Square trophy.
Oh, and that is the tank themed.
It goes, you get through the entire level without running over any of the men. So, you actually shoot them or you can't run them over. It's just Tiananmen Square, is the guy that was standing.
Yeah, can't run him over.
Right.
I like that. That's a good trophy.
So, anyway.
My first one is called the Valley of Tears. And that is die on the first level.
Oh, man. I got a lot of those trophies. My mantle's full of those trophies. This is a trophy that I'll probably never achieve. And that is that Arnold would be impressed Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Ah.
That is, beat the game. Since Arnold's apparently a tank connoisseur.
I guess so. Turns out he is.
Yeah.
Not Tom Arnold, regular Arnold.
Right. Right.
Okay, I've got one called Operation Goodwood. And that is beat the first level, which is like a wooded area.
Ah, okay. Good.
These are all tank battles, by the way. My trophies are named after tank battles.
Yeah. All right. I like it. And my next one is, what's that? Boom. And that is get the question mark power up, which I never saw, but apparently they're very rare in the game. And the question mark power up is, it makes all the enemies on the screen at that time die. So
I like that one. I never got it either.
yeah, I think I read that it was like very rare in the game. So
Okay. My next one is called Chambray. And that is run over 450 men
ooh, wow,
with the tank. Yep.
that's pretty good.
No, it's very, very bad.
All right, I'm out.
That's all I had to.
All right.
I'll do one more because that last one, I feel bad about it. It's kind of morbid. The last one is going to be the Tom Arnold would be impressed trophy.
Mm-hmm.
And that is be driving your tank, have one of the Nazis yell at you, and then you get out of your tank and have a fist fight with him.
Ooh, that would be
He's trying to troll you.
right.
And
right.
you know how to deal with internet trolls.
Yeah.
Fist fight.
Yeah.
That's the Tom Arnold way.
All right. So, do you want to rate the game or do you want to do high scores?
We can do the high score. I don't have it pulled up. Do you?
Yeah.
Sweet.
So, it's interesting because we host the show, right? And you kind of alluded to this in your comment with your score. But rounding out the bottom would be me. So I get the bottom of the barrel Mr. Suck to this game with 31,100. And then
Not too bad.
next to last would be you with 46,800.
Now, I will say, since I posted that score, I did get a little bit higher. I got up to like 52.
Wait. I was incorrect. I'm still bottom of the barrel, Mr. Suck, but there's somebody in between us, and that's Andy Lewis with 30.
Oh, Andy.
200. So you did get him on that one.
Makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah. Timmy Mack brings in a respectable 66,900.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's good.
It's better than anything I was able to do.
And then Stephen Michael pulls in 3 different submissions that beat all of those scores.
What a jerk.
Yeah. Stephen
I used
Michael
to like that guy, too.
It's that tech savviness that he uses his job at Facebook. So his first score that he posted was 91,400. But that wasn't good enough, so he went with 140,600.
Wow.
And you think that's like unbeatable, right?
Oh, yeah, he's done.
His last score that he posted was 152,200.
Dang, Steven.
Steven takes win, place, and show in the high scores contest.
He does.
Anyway, congratulations, Steven.
I will say, Steven, you don't have to show us up that bad.
Right.
And I think he was even planning on doing more because he asked us the other day. He sent us a message. He's like, "Hey, when's the high score end on this?"
Yeah.
This is after he had already scored 150,000 points or whatever. And I said, "Well, we're planning on recording tonight." And he said, "Oh shoot,"
because they gave up posting it probably at that point. but he probably was.
He already posted 3 high scores higher than anybody else.
Right. So, anyway, you want some feedback? We need to do rating. We need to do a rating. How are we going to rate this game?
Well, we could do...
war movie.
Okay.
It's too spot on. Is
it too spot on? Okay, that's fine. How about... okay, so tanks have treads. How about a brand of tire?
There we go. I like it.
All right.
Okay. I'm gonna go with. It's Firestone?
There's Firestone. Yeah, that's a tire.
So they got a bad rap because they
were exploding.
They're exploding. It turns out, they're a safe tire. It was because they were, they had a few problems, but they're still out there, still on the market. Even though some people don't like them, it's a good tire. Just like this game. Probably not everybody's going to like it. People are going to have their problems with it because, you'll explode when you're playing it.
Could explode. You're not guaranteed to explode.
Right. And, but it's still a good game.
Okay. So, I danced around Bridgestone.
Mm-hmm.
And I danced around Goodyear a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to end with the BF Goodrich.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I think it's and I don't know anything about tires, so I may be wrong here, but I think it's just a really solid middle-of-the-road tire brand.
There you go.
And I think this is just a mid to higher tier NES game. It's not among the upper echelons of Hankooks, or however you pronounce those tires. And but it's also not like a Riken,
right?
Which is like bottom of the barrel. It's somewhere in the middle, but it's a good middle. It's yeah.
You say you don't know anything about tires, and I don't know anything about tires either. I really don't know much about cars. And it's funny because I just took my car to the shop. It's always funny when they call you and they're like, well, we found this such and such valve that has a loose gasket. And you're like, oh, yeah, I was thinking, that sounds about right. Yeah.
You always got to pretend like you know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. So.
All right, you want to do feedback? Before we do feedback, I got one more tangent, and this will be the last of my tangents. I just want to say that I played a game this past weekend, not an NES game. It's a Steam game on computer. It's called Doki Doki Literature Club, and it sounds like the most ridiculous. It is a
video game based on a book club.
Yeah, it is. It is a video game based on a book club. It is this is going to sound so ridiculous. And then okay, it is a visual novel, which means it's mostly reading. And it's like an anime. There's like anime characters on the screen. If you look it up, look a picture of it.
Oh boy! And
you're going to see this, and you're going to think that's the most ridiculous game. I don't know why Michael played this, but
oh my god!
I'm going to tell you right now.
Is this like Schoolgirls?
Yes, it is. It's a dating sim. Also, it's like a reading. Listen, you laugh. Okay, but listen here. The next thing I say, everybody listen to this podcast who's over 18. Needs to play this game because it is awesome. I want to do a Patreon episode about it or something. Anybody who's played it will know. I can't say much more about it other than you have to play it. But trust me.
People here are frequently applied tags that people have used in describing this product.
Don't spoil it. No, don't spoil it. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Now I'm like really intrigued.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you because whether or not you play it or not, we'll talk about it after the show. But let me just tell you right now, play it. Everybody listening, play the game. It's free. It doesn't cost you any money. All you got to have is a computer, and you can play it. But it's totally worth it. It's one of the best games. It's probably one of the best games I've played in the last 5 years.
This is not a spoiler.
Okay.
I'm just going to say. I just clicked on it. It says this game is not suitable for children or those who are easily disturbed.
Right. Yes. Just remember that.
Oh.
It's good. All right. Anyways, moving on. Feedback.
Okay. All right. So, first off on our Facebook feedback is Andy Lewis says, I used to love this game. I couldn't ever get far, but for some reason I loved it as a kid. Playing it now, not so much. I guess I got the reading on that wrong. Sorry, Andy. Timmy Mac. I agree with Andy. I got it a long time ago and played it a lot, but it's so dang difficult. Update. Going back to the game, it's a lot more fun than I remembered. Currently having a blast, going for a high score, which he did, and came in 4th. Yes,
above you. That's all I know.
It was above both of us, actually, Timmy.
Oh,
yeah. So the only person you beat outside of me was Andy.
Oh, okay.
And Andrew Code says, never played it. Could it be as good as this? And it is a GIF of a chihuahua dressed as a tank.
It's awesome. Everybody needs to go to the Facebook group and check it out.
It's pretty awesome. Jacob McClanahan says, I didn't know this game existed. I must track it down. It's pretty easy to track down and pretty cheap, too. So, Stephen Michael says, I used to love this game when I was young. Looking forward to seeing if it holds up. Also looking to top the high score leaderboards. Well, we know how that turned out.
Yeah, we do.
All right. James Bennis. Elaine Bennis's brother. Get it?
I get it, yeah.
Great game. Remember it being difficult.
It's not a great joke whenever you have to ask them if they get it.
Right. Yeah. Jan Ian Hook. I have to edit his. Yes, this is the stuff. All right. Steve Nix says, between this and Tiger Heli, I got my overhead shooter fix at my cousin's place growing up. Played it a lot and quite difficult. And quite bad going old school with GTA on the opposing soldiers. Sorry, Akari Warriors. Adam Malone says, "Gah, not in my collection. Gotta hit the local shop this weekend, I guess." Cecil Dredge says, "Sweet, this is a fun game. Kind of reminds me of Jackal, but with tanks."
It does. I agree with that. I think I even made that comment earlier.
Yeah, he did. Steven Stone, one of my favorites growing up. It really is basically Ikari Warriors in a tank, but super fun and challenging nonetheless. Trevor Franklin says, as much as I hate to self-promote, cough cough, I played this for the first time when we reviewed it on Retro Bliss. It's possibly the game me and my co-host disagreed on most. I really had a blast with it and plan to go back to it. But he really didn't like the quirkier aspects or high difficulty. However, we both agreed that the dialogue is ear-piercing and horrible. Alright. One thing that aggravated me about the dialogue was that when you saved the prisoners, they just, thanks.
Yeah, I know. So ungrateful.
Just it. Thanks. Alright, and rounding us out is Dave Vault, who says, never played it, but always loved the box art. LOL.
The box art is pretty
sweet. It's pretty sweet.
I do like it. I do also think that SNK was trying to jump on that Konami train a little bit. Because their boxes are usually like silver bordered, which was kind of a Konami thing. So I think they were just trying to get on that hype train a little bit.
Yeah. All right.
We got a tweet. Says from Magoo. Says this was a childhood favorite. Rented it all the time till I got a complete in-box copy.
Ooh.
Always thought it was a fun, addictive game. With that, well, maybe this time I will get further. Never finished it, but still lots of fun. Thank you, Mr. Goo. Mr. Magoo. Mr.
Magoo.
Mr. Magoo. All right, we do have 2 voicemails, 3 iTunes reviews.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
excited.
The first iTunes review is from G. Walker. G. Walker says, I hate gaming podcasts, but you guys are the best. You're one of the only podcasts I heard so far that's worth listening to. I own demos, but your NES talk almost inspires me to buy an NES again. Update, I ended up buying a Retrain. Been playing NES games when I can, thanks to the two dudes who are also great Facebook friends now.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Thank you. 5 stars.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, the next one is from Stark Scraps. It says, great show, 5 stars. A really fun, super chill show, usually involving two dudes, sometimes more, rarely less, talking about NES games. In addition to the show, this podcast has launched a fantastic fan community, which I agree. We do have a fantastic fan community.
Yeah.
Which that we launched, you were correct there, but we did not do the work to put it together.
No, we did.
To build it up. That's all you guys.
All the guys. Yeah.
And then one more. This is actually not a new iTunes review. This is a fixed iTunes review from Tiki Baby. It is now 5 stars.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip the original part because it's the same, but I'll just give you the updated part. It says, sorry for giving you 2 stars. I meant to give you 5 stars. Also, I have 2 questions real quick. 1, can you play my voicemail, please, if you can find it? Which we did on the Christmas episode, Tiki Baby, so listen to that. You were talking about your YouTube channel.
Yep.
And Bill and Ted, I believe. And then 2, her question 2 is, have you seen Stranger Things? And if so, who's your favorite character?
So, I have not seen Stranger Things. I'm probably one of the few people in society that hasn't seen it. So, I can't really comment on it.
So, I must say, what's wrong with you? You just
I know.
Not interested? Or just don't have time?
I just don't have time. I haven't had a lot of time because I've been traveling so much on these interviews.
I see.
But the interviews are pretty much done. I've got one more left. And then it's, smooth sailing. And I have plenty of time to catch up on shows that I need to catch up on, and also starting some new ones.
And also to play Doki Doki Literature Club.
Right, I got to play that. So
that's not a very long game, actually. So it's only I think it took me 4 or 5 hours total.
So Stranger Things, you watch it?
I do watch it. I watch both seasons, and my favorite character is Steve. I like Steve.
Well, I'm going to say my favorite character is Barb. I don't know who Barb is, but I'll tell you what, that it was an answer on a crossword that I played yesterday.
Okay, all right.
So,
well, then you probably shouldn't watch Stranger Things then if Barb is your favorite character.
Oh boy. I did watch the first 2 episodes of the Punisher series on Netflix.
Oh, I have not tried it yet.
That was really good.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've been thinking about trying it because it does look. I've always been a fan of the Punisher character. I think he's cool. But anyways, thank you to the iTunes review, Tiki Baby.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve is my favorite character, and I like him because he is cool, and he's funny. And he's actually a good-hearted dude, which is different from Jonathan, who is selfish, in my opinion.
Really?
And we can get into that on another show.
After I've watched it.
After Justin has watched it. And if anybody else wants to join in, come on by. Anyways. All right. Going to voicemail?
Yeah.
All right. Let me get it pulled up here, and let me stall by saying random things. Would you like to say some random things while I
can tell my Switch story.
Yes.
So I finally played the Switch. It's only been out for, forever.
A year almost.
Yeah. And I went over I was over traveling for an interview in North Carolina that my wife's sisters also live in. And so we were going over to one of her sister's houses. And when we walked in, I immediately noticed a Switch sitting on the table. It's like, It was her boyfriend's Switch. Didn't care whose it was. I was going to play it. Walked over, he picked it up, started playing it. And I played Super Mario Odyssey, and it is awesome. I mean, it's almost worth buying a Switch just for that game. Just what little bit I played with
awesome.
it. Yeah.
I don't know that I would say that it's worth getting the Switch for that game alone, because the game is really, there's a lot to do in it, but the main part of the game, if that's all you want to do, there's not a whole lot to just plan the main part. But if you want to collect all the moons, there's a ton of replay value there. But with what's on the system now, it's totally worth it at this point.
Yeah.
That plus Zelda plus everything else.
Yeah, it's pretty
sweet. I'm glad you got to play it.
Yeah.
All right, voicemail number 1.
Dudes, what's up? This is JZNES, also known as John Jurassic with Mario. But anyway, hey, I saw you guys are doing Silver Surfer up next. That's pretty crazy. Finally, after all this time, haven't listened through all the episodes yet, but I'm glad to support you guys on Patreon.
I will play that one. Thanks for the Patreon support, by the way, John. I'll play that one on Silver Surfer if I remember.
Actually, we didn't do the Silver Surfer.
Yeah, we do. We need to do that episode.
The last episode with the wee guy.
Yeah, we need to get a hold of it. Maybe he lives somewhere different now.
Oh yeah,
so
the time difference.
The time difference is pretty rough. Okay, here's the other one. So that one's not really a voicemail for this episode.
Dudes, what's up? It's John Jurassic here. JZNES, as it were. And saw that you guys are doing Iron Tank next, and I played that game a little bit. I think it's pretty good. The guy in there is named Snake. Now, I don't know if that's Solid Snake or what, but that'd be pretty cool of a tie-in there if it was the real actual Snake. But anyway, yeah, pretty decent overhead shooter by SNK there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. It's kind of hard, actually. I've never really made it that far into it, but it's one of the earlier NES games I got when I was doing my set there. So, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.
Thanks for the call, John. That would be, I guess that's your second call, and I only played part of your first one. But thanks. We definitely appreciate the calls, and we also appreciate the Patreon support, buddy.
Yeah, man.
So, thank you. That is it, I believe.
All right. Wow, good episode.
Not bad. Thanks, Richard, for the pick. We enjoyed playing it.
It's a good game. Of course, you can always find us on twodudesinthenest.com, nintendudes.com, and nestdudes.com, as well as Facebook, Twitter, Google+. Ryan Ballard didn't write in this weekend, but you can next time. Mm-hmm. We've also got the voicemail, which you can click on our website, or you can call
775-7-RETRO-1.
There you go. And also shout out to all the retro junkies, except for Genesis Gems.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
Wee Guy. Thank you to the Wee Guy on YouTube for the music. He does the music.
Fox
he doesn't
dude.
do it. He doesn't do it for us.
Right.
He does it for everybody. So if you want to go on YouTube and listen to stereoized NES tunes, he's on YouTube as the Wee Guy.
Also, Fox Dude for all of our sweet logos. And also, I would normally never suggest going to the Genesis Gems.
Wait. Where's the stop button?
Hold on.
So, okay.
But if you'd like to see some dance moves of Aaron Hickman's...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah. If we're going to do some embarrassing, that's good.
You might want to go to the Genesis Gems Facebook page. Just because I say that.
He does have some moves. And he's getting down, too. It's not like it's not like a little shimmy. It's like straight up dancing.
No wonder he's been so successful in his weight loss. I mean, he's going.
Yeah. If I danced like that every day, I'd be losing weight too.
Yeah. All right. So, anyway.
Okay, here's the music for the next game. I screwed the last one up, by the way. So we're going to get Strider music twice.
Sweet.
Oh, well.
It's all right.
All right. See you, everybody.
Bye-bye.